My journey started when I was in my freshman year of high school, and I was having a lot of anxiety and depression symptoms, and I was referred to a hospital after I stopped eating. I was diagnosed with ARFID.
ARFID stands for Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder. In that condition, individuals have very specific foods that they will eat some of and a bunch of others that they won't. And some individuals reach a point where they can't eat very much at all. It's more about the food and the textures and the feeling of the food coming in than it is about weight. When Kristen came in to see me initially, she was suffering from a great deal of anxiety that was leading her to feel a great deal of depression as well. The OCD was the driving force because food was something she could control.
Once Kristen was diagnosed with her eating disorder, they sent us home with a pretty stringent eating plan, and we thought that things were going to be okay, but they were not. She did need a feeding tube.
I felt very alone. It was really sad for me. It was like I didn't really have a hope. I didn't want to get help. I thought I could do it on my own and that it wasn't that bad, but it was, and my heart rate was dropping. So much so that at the beginning of the school year, I did end up at Children's Mercy again, inpatient.
It was a lot. We had a son still at home. We just really wanted him to know that we loved him and that our home was still a safe place for him to come back to.
I've said before, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Honestly, it was so difficult to go through. It honestly gave us a sense of helplessness and of hopelessness.
While I was there, I thought that it was all going to be okay and that none of my triggers were going to show up again, but they did, and I eventually wanted to go home so bad. They were like, no, we're going to get you better before you go home, and you're going to stay here as long as you need to be healthy again. I would also have my family members come, so my mom and my dad came, I had my cousins come, my aunts, they would come, and that kind of sparked me to be like, okay, I think I do want this normal life again.
At Christmas time, we decided we would go visit her. It didn't seem like she had been making much progress. Sitting in a wheelchair, signs of some self-harm happening. And then a few months later, we had a Zoom call, and they told us, Kristen's getting her feeding tube out today.
How that felt as a dad is incredible. Just to know that all the trials that we've been through were maybe coming to an end, and that we were going to get to bring our little girl home.
Partnership involving a couple of major local medical groups are making all of this happen.
Children's Mercy Hospital and Camper Mental Health partnered together to build this $53 million mental health wellness clinic. It's also going to be an inpatient hospital. They say their goal is simple: save as many lives as possible and meet people in the moment of their need.
Having the depression and anxiety clinic when I was going through my mental health would have definitely probably changed the course of my journey. I'm very thankful that these people are spending a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of planning to make these facilities and outpatient centers, because there are still people struggling, and I think sadly there always will be, but if we open up more facilities and we have more professionals, it'll definitely help.
If we would have been able to have treated these things earlier and get more tools in the toolbox to handle things like being depressed and being anxious, we could have seen some improvement and resolution, and she could have been able to have avoided having to make the trip to Dallas. Supporting Children's Mercy is extremely important for our community because Children's Mercy is providing a lot of medical care and mental health care in a way that could not be done without financial support. Pediatric care and certainly mental health care is not reimbursed at a level to provide the excellence of care that we want to provide children, so we really need your support. Kristen is a very intelligent, determined person. She just didn't give up. She stuck to the treatment.
Today, I am a sophomore in college, and I'm still continuing care with my psychiatrist, a dietitian, and a therapist. I have great friends, a great family. I've definitely had a restored relationship with all of my family. My parents definitely were trying everything that they could to get me the help that I needed, even though I didn't like it, even though I was hurting and it was going to be rough. They wanted to see me thrive. I say that I'm thriving, yes, very much so. I think my parents think that too, so.